there was a man named Adnan. To everyone around him, his life looked perfect: a good job, a car, and a house that smelled of success. He worked day and night, chasing promotions, applause, and numbers. People used to say, "Adnan is lucky. Everything he touches turns to gold." But no one saw the truth. Behind that smile was a man who was slowly burning out. One year, everything changed. The company he worked for went bankrupt. Within weeks, he lost his job, his savings, and his confidence. The people who once called him brother stopped answering his calls. He tried starting a small business, it failed. His car was sold, his rent was due, and his days felt heavier than his nights. One evening, sitting on a park bench, he whispered to himself, "I had everything, and now I have nothing." Tears came quietly. Not from pain, but from disappointment. While Adnan sat lost in thought, an old man who often fed birds nearby noticed him. He walked over and said, "Son, do you know what the strongest tree in the forest is?" Adnan looked up, confused. "The one that never falls," he guessed. The old man smiled. "No. The strongest tree is the one that fell, but grew again with deeper roots." Those words stayed with Adnan long after the old man walked away. That night, Adnan stood in front of his mirror. He looked at his tired eyes and said out loud, "You failed, Adnan. But that's not the end. You can rebuild." He made a promise to himself. He wouldn't chase success anymore. He would build it, step by step, from the ground up. The next morning, he woke up earlier than he had in years. He made tea, cleaned his small rented room, and wrote in his notebook, "Start small. Stay consistent." He began working at a small repair shop, fixing electronics. It wasn't glamorous, but it was real. He learned how machines worked and how patience worked even better. Every day, he repaired one more device than yesterday. Every night, he read one new chapter about business and mindset. Slowly, his savings returned. Slowly, his confidence returned. He wasn't earning much. But he was becoming something again: disciplined, calm, and focused. After 1 year, Adnan opened his own small repair shop. He named it Rebuild Tech. He remembered the old man's words about the tree that grows again. When customers came, he greeted them with warmth. He didn't see them as sales anymore, he saw them as people. And that made all the difference. Soon, word spread. His shop became one of the most trusted in the area. One evening, a familiar face entered his shop. The same old man from the park. He smiled and said, "So, the tree grew again?" Adnan laughed. "Yes, sir. Stronger this time." The old man patted his shoulder and said, "Remember, storms don't destroy strong roots, they only test them." Years later, Adnan's business grew into a chain of shops. He became a mentor to many young people who had failed once and lost hope. Whenever someone said, "Sir, I failed," he replied, "Good. That means you tried. Now grow again, deeper, stronger, and wiser." One morning, Adnan returned to that same park bench. Birds flew overhead, the sun touched his face. And he realized failure wasn't the end. It was the beginning of who he was meant to be. He smiled and whispered to himself, "I didn't just rise again. I learned how to stand taller after falling."